Well, we may as well start with some housekeeping. Can you give us some updates on various injuries? I heard on KJR last night that it sounds like Paul Rothrock is out. What else can you say about various availability?
If I leave anybody out, you can ask me questions. So number one, so just to clarify, Paul. So the kid had a muscle issue in his quad, and he was tough enough to play through 2 games because he actually felt something a little bit in Portland, and then the Houston series. And by the time he ended those couple of games, we couldn't get him back up to speed. We did an MRI. He's actually got a significant quad pull, so he's done for the rest of the year. Ymar was jogging around the field today. So if I was a betting man, I'd say 50-50, because he's a tough kid. Reed, on the other hand, is probably 40-60. His calf is significant. We don't know if it's a complete, strain or whether it's just a cramp because he had put a lot into the game. Reed gives us the, ability to play 3-5-2. He's fine. Christian's good. Christian came in early today, just precautionary. Who else on my list? Nathan was just precautionary. He started. He did most of training. He'll be fine. He got stepped on that. When Bowanga shot the ball, he should be fine. Nuhu is in Seattle. Gene Ramirez, our security officer, has verified to me that he is in Seattle. He's actually on his way to the facility. You might see him as you guys leave.
Doctors, and is there any update on what his ailment was or what you can share?
I cannot share that. We're claiming it as an illness. And the doctors in Cameroon cleared him to fly. They think he can play with no issues, but we're going to do our due diligence and make sure that safety of the player. And I'm expecting Nuhu back in training tomorrow, and we'll get him back up on the horse. You want me to repeat the answers? Okay, all right. Because I would have forgot what I said.
Just for both of you, I guess I just want to get heading to the conference finals, the excitement around this club, this organization. I know earlier on in the season you always talk about it being a marathon. Well, it's no longer a marathon. This is win and move on, and just kind of for both you guys, just the feeling and getting ready for the LA Galaxy.
I'll start and I'll make it short. I mean, look, we're coaching staff super excited to have a couple more extra training days. As a fan, as just a guy growing up in Seattle, I'm super proud of, this organization, this particular group of players. I mean, they put it in last week. They deserve this opportunity, so I'm fired up.
And for players, I mean, 90% of games, they're obviously not meaningless, but you don't get to play for trophies, and now we're at the point where we get to play for a trophy. We're not a win away from playing for a trophy. We are playing for a trophy, Western Conference champions. So stoked, super juiced, and yeah, can't wait.
This is for both of you as well. On the brink of making another MLS Cup, and I feel like every season has a distinct story or a unique feel to it. I know that you guys have had slow starts in the past. You guys have had quick starts in the past, been underdogs, been favorites. I'm just curious how this season feels distinct from other ones, if there's any unique stories or just feelings that you have about this year.
Well, for me, Matt, and thanks for your article the other day, I think for me this year has been kind of just it's a subtle shift from what the team maybe was a few years ago. I mean, Nico and then Raul and some guys moving on. It was hard to do, but these guys stuck with it. And look, when I say Nico, okay, it'd be great to see him again. If Orlando goes through and whatever, Raul is still here working hard. He obviously helped us a lot in the game, and on Saturday he's going to help us a lot. But just the shift from kind of who we were at the new group. You got Jordan, Christian, Albert, some of those guys stepping up. You've got Obed. You've got still some young guys, Josh, Danny Leva, that have been here. The whole homegrown story of Jackson and Paul. I mean, Paul got a lot of juice. So I think it's kind of the homegrowns, the people from Seattle, because even though Christian's from California, I kind of think of him as kind of a Seattle guy going to the UW. I just think it's kind of the transformation of this group and them finding their own identity. And look, to be fair, a lot of people were doubting their identity, our identity, but they've proved them wrong.
Yeah, I would go into the exact same thing. I think this year there's been a lot of cohesion. The squad has stuck together really, really well, and through ups and downs. But I always say this, that you need the downs in the year that you are currently playing as a squad to build that resilience that we obviously needed in like the game against LAFC. You go down a match and you keep pushing through and you keep believing, and that has to be formed and built and earned throughout the year. But I think we have a strong group that's together, that's been together for the whole year, and that's helped us, and hopefully it will keep pushing us on.
Steph, obviously he stumps for you, and you have folks here in Seattle who back you, obviously. But for the national media and for the votes and all of the awards over the years that you've been overlooked, how much does that motivate you personally? Not only going into a game like LAFC, where LAFC is the favorite, obviously, but into just your everyday of just looking at how nationally people view you and the team.
Yeah, I mean, those are two different things. How people view me, I don't really care, honestly, because I've given up a long time ago on things that other people can control. I try to control what I can. I do this to win trophies as a unit, as a squad, and if I'm called upon to try to help my team, and if I can do so, the great. We're one step closer to achieving our goals. That's what I'm here for. As for how the people view our squad, that's a different story. I'm the captain of the squad, and I'll defend this team. I'll be the first one out there. I think people that wrote us off, people that doubted our cohesion, our togetherness, they have no idea what they're talking about. Like I said, I think we're a strong team. We're all together. We enjoy each other's company. We enjoy going to war for each other. And so that's why what Jordan said after the game when we had the presser, you do get a little emotional because this is a second family, and you put a lot of work in together. And so when everybody's pushing hard and giving it their all, and it doesn't come to fruition, and you don't get anything out of it, it sucks. It hurts. And so when you see the people that you have gone and done all these things with get rewarded, it feels great. It feels amazing. So happy that we're there. Could care less what other people think on the outside, because we believe in ourselves. And same thing this weekend. We're gonna treat this opponent with the utmost respect, but go in there with our belief and focus on ourselves.
Christian has said that this is the most together group he's been on here on a Sounders team. Do you also feel that?
I think so. I'm in a different role. This is my first year as the captain, so I'd like for other players to voice how they feel the squad is doing. I try to make sure that everybody is heard and everybody feels good. Everybody's treated equal is important. And so, yeah, I agree with him, because I think in the beginning of the season when we struggled, the results were on a nice edge, and it was important then to keep pushing and keep everybody going. And I think we've been able to do so together as a squad and become successful.
Just for both of you guys, without giving away too much of a game report on what you're going to do, this Galaxy team can score. You guys have one of the best defenses in the league. What's going to be keys for you guys getting a win down there against the Galaxy?
So, some interesting storylines there. Let's start with perhaps their couple of most influential players. I mean, they got three P's, but I'll start with Ricky Pugh. I mean, last time we were here, Obed kind of made a statement. He was going to try and shut him down, I think, by committee. We did a good job of limiting his, influence on the game. You've got another marquee matchup with Gabriel Peck. I mean, he's a tremendous player. Best attacking winger in MLS versus the best one-on-one defender in MLS in Nuhutolo. I mean, that's going to be a marquee matchup. Look, we've seen them, we know them. We'll try and be effective in our possession. If they don't have the ball, they can't score. There's that old adage. We'll make sure we try and put them under pressure, because we can't just go back there and bunker. They're too good for that. Set pieces will come into play. Last time we got a couple of set piece goals early, which dictated the course of that game. And then defensively, just as a collective, our away from home strategy, let's make sure everybody recovers, everybody's goal side of the ball, making sure we double team guys at the right moments, and, make it difficult for teams to try and get to him.
So, fifth conference title is on the line, but also the possibility of hosting MLS Cup with a win. So, this question's for both of you. I'm sure both of you are focused more on the game, but how does it add to the motivation to bring MLS Cup final back to Seattle?
Well, all the awards and the big picture things, those are certainly goals, and, those are things that we'll reflect on when we're retired, and we'll think about all the good times we had, the MLS Cup final in 2019 here, the CONCACAF Champions League final here, hopefully another couple, before he and I move on. But, awards, we don't play for the awards. We set a standard. We set a standard for ourselves. I think it relates a little bit to Steph. He's not playing for the MVP, Best Goalkeeper in the League award. He's playing at his standard, his level. And if all the rest of us, I set my coaching standard. If I reach that, if he reaches his standard, if all the other players reach their personal standards, that gives us the best chance as a collective to go through in games like this. I think it's important. As a fan, a guy from Seattle, yes, I understand your question. It would be exciting. I'd love for our fans to do the March for the Match again. I mean, some of those memories are really good, the parades after the things we won. But we also understand we're pragmatic, we're reality-based. It's going to be a tough game, and we have to focus not on all of the things that could be, but on the things that we should be focused on, which is getting all the details right to make sure we give ourselves a chance to win the game.
Yeah, Obed had talked a little bit about the perception that the Galaxy are sort of the league favorites and maybe and probably the favorites coming into this game as well. Do you lean into that at all in terms of embracing sort of an underdog mentality? I know that's not been something you've done in the past, but this one maybe feels a little different.
Well, I don't use the word underdog, but we can play free. The pressure's on them. Pressure was on LAFC. When you're the favorite, the pressure, that subtle pressure, is on you. They're a confident team, but are they a little overconfident? What happens the first time we go down and punch them in the nose or score a goal or we come close or somebody tackles someone? What do? What's their reaction? The pressure's on them. It's not on us. So that's how we play free.
Zoom next. Kevin is moderating. Kevin, I'll tell us to you. Go ahead and get some questions started with video conference.
All right, we got a couple of his in here. Scott, we'll start with you and should be able to unmute yourself. Go ahead and write it with Duffy. Yeah, I got it. Thank you. I got two questions, one for Brian and then one for both of you. Brian, how would you describe Ricky Book and the challenges that he presents?
Well, I mean, he's super talented. The thing that I appreciate, look, as a soccer fan, I'll give you the answer as a soccer fan. I think when he dribbles, and he dribbles going forward, obviously, he almost accelerates. He's faster with the ball than he is without the ball, and I think that's a super exciting thing to see. I mean, it's like he picks up the ball, he looks up, he's got the ability to find passes. I mean, he's a tremendous player. I mean, I enjoy watching him. I hope he doesn't have success on Saturday, but as a fan, I like how he plays.
And then for both of you, this was, if we go back a decade, maybe not quite that far, this was one of the best rivalries in MLS. And in the post-Bruce Arena Galaxy, when they weren't competitive and you guys were soaring, it diminished a little bit. Is this a rivalry that's back on the rise? And in what ways can this game kind of reignite this rivalry? And then for you, Brian, you played against Greg 3 times in MLS Cup Finals. Is that a little bit of a rivalry?
You can start.
Yeah, I mean, these are big games, but I mean, what makes a rivalry, right? And like at this point now, people are saying we have a rivalry against Portland, against Vancouver, against LAFC, against LA Galaxy. I mean, to me, a rivalry is still maybe two teams in the same city or same vicinity and fighting for regional prowess, something like that. Yeah, I mean, if you are looking for rivalry, then maybe the only way you could say is two teams that have a really high standard. And the LA Galaxy used to be the team, and like you said, they kind of lost that for a while, but they've had a resurgence now. And I think if their standard can be up there for a few years, and we can maintain our standard, and still can put ourselves in positions to try to find or win trophies, or at least play for trophies, then yeah, you will find yourselves playing against those good teams more often again, and in very important games. And then that's when people will want to call it a rivalry again. I wouldn't call it rivalry, but I mean, it's a measuring stick. I think that's what it was for us in 14 and 13, 14, 15, those years, right? A measuring stick and trying to outcompete the best team. And once we did, obviously, I think it helped us tremendously. So, yeah, that's my take on it.
Scott, I think the media will take and get storylines and everything. Is it a rivalry? Is it a true rivalry like Portland? No. Like Vancouver? No. But certainly there is something there. Greg and I certainly have done battle. I like Greg. He's a great coach. He does a great job with his squad. Is there any extra personal motivation? Again, I just go back to the standard that I like to try and set. But it is a big game. But, rivalry would have been, El Trafico for the right to host MLS Cup. I mean, that's probably a better one.
Thank you, guys.
Kevin, any more on Zoom? Maz will jump next to you.
All right. Hey, I have a question for each one of you. Brian, I'm wondering if you could talk about the importance of containment, pressure, and then secondary defending in this game.
Yeah, if you don't get pressure on Ricky Pugh, he's going to tear you apart. If you don't double team Peck and Paintsill, they'll tear you apart. So we understand pressure. And then as far as secondary defending, always having a +1 defensively, winning second balls, winning duels, that's my favorite stat, Maz. All of those things are going to come into play.
And then, Stefan, how would you define this team? Brian talked about the identity. What's the identity of this team? Is there one?
I think it's still resilience. I mean, and I think that's been a trademark of most Sounder squads. But having said that, there's no continuity that just kind of goes across the years. Yes, if you have veterans who've been there before and have taken pride in that, maybe they'll take that into the next year. But that's hard earned every year, I think. And again, through those valleys, through those ups and downs throughout the year, that's when you find that identity, that resilience, that push to the 90, well, in last case, 120 minutes plus. I think that's part of a huge part of our identity.
Is physicality an identity of this team? Because I would assert that last game that, these young guns, that there was a physical element you all had against LAFC and other teams during the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a sense, a bite, and not wanting to quit, not wanting to lose doing everything you can, resilience again, and we needed all of it, every last ounce of it. But that's why it's really nice to see that. It's really nice to see that, and then be able to enjoy the reward together afterwards. There's no feeling like it. It feels great.
Thank you.
All right, Rob, we'll go to you next. When you're ready, please ask your question.
Thank you so much, guys, for your time. I have one for Brian and I have one for Stefan, if that's okay. Brian, and last time these two teams faced each other in the lead up, Albert Rusnak said that the Galaxy doesn't like to defend. You were a little bit more diplomatic in your assessment of that, but do you see the Galaxy's defensive abilities as their weakness still? And then for Stefan, kind of like the flip side of that answer, from defense to offense, you faced a very high-powered LAFC offense. You put in a man-of-the-match performance. You're facing another very, very potent offensive team. What unique challenges does this team pose? And what are you looking forward in that challenge? Thank you.
Go ahead and answer that first, and I'll end it.
Yeah, I mean, it's another Hydra. It's three men snake up there. You know, they're all very, very skilled players. I think one of the keys to it is, can you starve service to them, especially when you know that it's quality service through Puig. So, like Brian mentioned, I think if you can really make him uncomfortable, pressure him, not let him find a way into just running the show, then that's going to be already the best thing, because then they'll have to somehow, those other three guys will have to manufacture things themselves or whatnot. So, I mean, am I looking forward to facing? I wish I faced the worst strikers on the planet this weekend, but because it would give us the best chances probably. But I have all the trust in our teammates. I think this last game again against a potent offense, the little things that leaked through, I was able to take care of, but I think they did a phenomenal job in terms of limiting that attack, and I'm hoping to see the same thing this weekend.
Rob, what I would say is every player, every group of players, every team has strengths and weaknesses, or in coach speak, you have strengths and then you have areas of concern or areas to get better at, improvement. So the Galaxy has obviously strengths, and they have areas that I'm sure Greg would like to perform better at. Same with me. We'll see. We're a good defensive team. You know, we've had our struggles scoring goals. They've scored a pile of goals. They've given up some goals. So let's just see how the game turns out.
Perfect. One last one on Zoom. Nico Moreno, when you're ready, please ask your question.
Thank you. Brian, you spoke about the pressures on Galaxy. Is there any pressure on you to reach this final, or is it the fact that you got the statement win against LAFC and the fact that you made it to the Western Conference final? Is that a successful season for you and there's no pressure beyond that?
You pressure on me, myself?
No, on the team. On the team, yourself, in general.
Again, the pressure, Nico, is not pressure. It's the standard that they set, the standard at this club is what drives these guys. It's not pressure. It's their own internal willingness, ability, sacrifice, togetherness. They're a together team. You heard that now multiple occasions. I mean, it's all internal. We don't have any pressure from the outside. Any pressure that they might feel, any butterflies that happen before the game, that comes from them themselves because they want to win. Or in my case, I hate losing.
And what we talked about is last week, this was an opportunity, right? And I think it's the exact same thing this week. It's an opportunity, but now we actually have an opportunity to win a trophy. And that's the only reason why we play this game. Last week, it was an opportunity to get to play for a trophy. Now it's an actual opportunity to win a trophy. And that's how we look at it.
Instead, just a quick one for you. I mean, after that huge performance that you put up against LAFC, and the whole year, there were times where maybe there were struggles. There were times where, people were calling for you have a great backup that was shining when you were not being able to get into these games. How did you process that? How big was that moment, and how would you articulate the year and the way it's kind of come about with that LAFC game being as big as it was?
Look, I've had ups and downs throughout my career in every season, and it's sort of a similar thing that we're talking about on a whole team level. It's building up the resilience, it's building up the belief, keeping on fighting. As an individual, it's the same thing, and I'm super blessed that, especially in the moments when I feel the loneliest and it's the darkest, I have a keeper coach and I have keepers with me that are pushing so hard in training, and that's what helps you keep going. And then once in a while you're able to reap the rewards of that hard work. And as most goalkeepers, I don't think we want to be in the spotlight. We'd rather have the easiest games possible. Last game I was forced to make a few saves, and I was able to do so, but that's due to all the hard work that we put in as a squad beforehand. So I'm thankful that we have that team, and I'm thankful we have goalkeepers around me that are exceptionally good, because they keep pushing me. I think actually it's the hardest if you feel like you're isolated. If you have guys who are better than you at certain aspects, you try to copy those things. You try to, it keeps you on your toes. You keep trying to push, and that's what you need. That's what you need to be successful. And so I'm happy I was able to do it last weekend. Hopefully I don't have to do as much this weekend, but I'm trying to be prepared, and do what I can.
Thank you.
All right, that's it on Zoom, Matt. So back to you.
Thanks, Kev. Time for 2 follow-ups in the room. Chris and Jeremiah, and we'll close out here. Go ahead, Chris.
I'm saving one of the tougher ones for the end for you guys. Just paint the picture. Feel free to just not think that you got a game coming up on Sunday. You can have whatever you want tomorrow for Thanksgiving dinner. What is the perfect plate for both of you guys for Thanksgiving dinner?
Well, my family, we're going to a friend's house, and they're making a really nice roast. My mom will be there. I'm sure she'll bring something. One of my friends is gluten-free, so I'm making a gluten-free carrot cake because she enjoys that. Enjoy a little bit.
I can eat whatever I want, and I can have a good glass of red wine, and I'm cooking the bird and the gravy and the stuffing. So there you go.
And I need the carb load, so we're good.
Yeah.
You mentioned, Brian, after the last game that Jordan sort of showed that he was a number 9 in that game. And I'm just curious if you could expand on that a little bit more, and how big the goal was for his confidence, and sort of as a message to both the team that when they need a goal, he can be relied on, and to himself that he's capable of scoring in big moments like that.
Jordan has worked very hard at trying to be a number 9. And look, again, a number 9 like Jordan is different than a number 9 like Benteke and, Giroud and, then other. It always varies subtly based on the player's individual characteristics. And so Jordan gives us a lot of things. Raul gave us a lot of things. Obafemi gave us a lot of things, but they're all different. Nelson Valdez, another great center forward we had, Hurt Gomez. We've had good center forwards in this club. And so Jordan has worked at his craft, and all the hard work that he's done throughout the year has helped us in this playoff run, has helped us in the regular season. I was excited for him because, look, there's guys out there that bash him, that say he's not a number 9, and there's the whole U.S. national team faction. Jordan should be considered, in the run of form that he has, to be a number 9 at this club. And he's also, should get some looks with the national team if he continues to perform. And the best reason and the best way that Jordan can do that is by doing the work. Just like Steph, I know Nico mentioned Andrew Thomas. Good competition amongst teammates is what makes him better. It's what going to make Jordan better. It's going to make Obed and Josh and Danny Leva better. That's just the way it is. And you see the fruits of all their hard work come out in games like this, 9 saves, game-winning goal, and I'm pleased for Jordan. I'm pleased for these guys. I couldn't be more proud of that group of players.